WIIFU. What's in it for you? Today is day 2 of our Get Up and Go October 2020 free 30 plus day challenge. And yesterday we talked about and we discussed how we're going to do this challenge, what we're going to do over the next 30 days in really broad strokes, how it's going to work, what the logistics of it are. And we got our handy dandy paper and notebook. That's the tool we're going to use throughout the challenge. And as you can see, I did get a smiley face because I did my homework yesterday. And I did a couple of different things than you had to do. All you had to do was find a paper and pencil or some kind of a notebook that you're going to keep notes in so that you can keep track of the different tools that we cover every day and answer the question, how many challenges you've done. Thank you to the people that did that homework. And I want to let you in on a little secret. You have actually successfully been through hundreds of thousands, if not millions of challenges in your life. We'll talk about that later on in the challenge, but you absolutely positively have. And I'll show you throughout the challenge how you have overcome a gazillion challenges, as well as all of the challenges that I've overcome and things that I've had to do. I'll share the stories of some of the biggest and most horrific things that have happened to me and the challenges that they caused me or gave me the opportunity to face, and how they have helped me to come about and be better off after each and every one of those experiences and challenges than before. So today we're going to talk about what's in it for you. What is in it for you to do a challenge in the first place, or to challenge yourself to do anything, and what's in it for you specifically to do this particular challenge. And so I'm just going to, knock off a couple of reasons. Our assignment for today, I might as well tell you the action item right off the bat, is to share in the comments underneath the thread in the private group, or else underneath the post on the page. I don't care where you use it. I just want you to actually do it, because when you take action, it reinforces what you learn. You're going to share what your biggest reason for doing the challenge is, based on what's in it for you, what's in it for you to do the challenge. One of the favorite radio stations in business and in life, in personal development training, they say WIIFM is everybody's favorite radio station because it's what's in it for me. And we're always internally asking that question. Whenever we experience something, whenever we're exposed to something, the first thing that pops into our mind is, what does this mean to me? What's in this new information or this new situation or this experience for me? And our subconscious starts to answer that question. Well, we want to do this a little bit more intentionally by asking ourselves, what is in it for me to participate in this particular Get Up and Go 30-day challenge? Because you could spend your 10 minutes or half an hour at 11 o'clock or whatever time you happen to listen to the challenge doing something else. There's millions of things you could possibly do, so why do you want to do this? Number one, challenges create change. To me, the word challenge and change are synonymous because they're inevitable. Challenges and change is happening to us and around us all of the time. There's no way to avoid it. There's no way to hide. There's no way to bury ourselves in a basement or a hole for an extended period of time and think that we are going to get off scot-free and nothing is ever changed and nothing is ever going to challenge us, or nothing is going to ever get our attention that requires us to respond in a certain way, in a way that is hopefully in our best interest, that's best for us. So challenges create change. They create growth. They create progress and results. They are what creates everything that happens in our life. All action and all movement is the result of some experience or some change in our environment or in our situation that we need and want to respond to. We don't want to just bury ourselves in a hole and just let the world pass us by. Challenges are an opportunity to proactively handle change, to change on purpose, to decide how what happens is going to impact us. We've all gotten a lot of practice with this year, right? COVID-19 has foisted so many different changes on each and every one of us. Each of our situations is different, but we've all experienced tons of change, right? Tons of things that we've had to respond to or react to or deal with or decide how we are or are not going to respond to them. Things as simple or as challenging. There are things that seem simple, but have caused lots of debate and drama. Things like masks, things like social distancing, things like closing businesses. All of these things are changes and challenges that we've had to decide how we're going to respond to them. Challenges give us a quick and easy way and framework for handling these challenges, handling change. The overriding purpose of this particular challenge is to give you a strategy, a framework, a structure to put in your subconscious so that whenever you're faced with a challenge or a change or an obstacle or a setback or anything different, that happens, any experience that impacts you or has the ability to impact you, you will automatically go through this process on a subconscious level and create the best results, the best outcome for you. Better than if you didn't have a process. If you were just, the change happens and you respond. The change happens and you respond. So often we do that, right? Somebody says something mean and we automatically react back. Somebody or something happens to impact our life, and instead of thinking through how we're going to respond to it, we just instinctively react and respond, which may or may not give us the best outcome in that situation. So the whole purpose of this challenge is to help you to guarantee that you're always going to have the best result after a change or challenge than before you experience that change or challenge. Challenges allow us to learn a new skill and test different strategies and techniques and tools out on ourselves and on our situation really, really quickly, really, really fastly. It's the fastest way to get from point A to point B or Z, wherever you want to go. It's the fastest, easiest way to learn a step-by-step anything. It's the fastest way to get a result, a specific result that you want. It's the fastest way to get anything that you want. It's to create a challenge for yourself, right? And to me, a challenge is just, and we're going to go through the process ad nauseum, so I'm not going to spend time on it today, but it will become automatic. It gives us an opportunity to shine, be who we really are, be who we're meant to be. Reminds us how awesome and resilient and creative and smart and resourceful we actually are. If we never had any challenges, if nothing ever changed, how boring would our lives be? Now, not all change and all challenges feels good, right? And feels like, ooh, I'm curious about this. I want this amazing adventure of just losing my job or having my business shut down. But it does help to show us what we're made of and how we respond to things. So think for a couple of minutes, what's in it for you to participate in this challenge, to find out and create a proactive way of dealing with any kind of change or experience or challenge that comes your way. What's in it for you to do that? What's the number one thing? That's what we're going to share in the homework thread. I don't like to call it homework. Let's call it playwork thread on the Get Up and Go Challenge group page. You can share it underneath this video as well. And then our tool for today, this is a good one. And I didn't learn about this until, pretty much later in my life. Each and every one of us have a set point. You've got a thermostat in your house or in your refrigerator or anything where you set the temperature that you want it to always stay at. And we do that in our house. We do that with our air conditioning. We do it with our heating. We do it with, things like our freezers and refrigerators. Freezers and refrigerators are big to me because I had a food business for so many years. And one thing that we always did for a government requirement, but just for keeping our products safe and making sure that we didn't lose our inventory, was every day we would constantly be checking the temperatures on the freezer and the refrigerator to make sure they stayed in the zone that we needed them in to ensure product safety, right? Nowadays they have alarms where if it goes below a certain amount, it will sound an alarm. But we had old-fashioned freezers and refrigerators, and so they didn't have a physical alarm. We had to physically check them and see what the temperatures were. Well, guess what? We, human beings, have a set point or a range that's acceptable for us and that we automatically set back to with everything and every aspect of our life. We have one for our weight. Whatever weight we are right now is obviously within our mental set point, or we wouldn't be that weight. So some of us gained weight during COVID and our set point has shifted and now it doesn't feel comfortable. So me, for example, it doesn't feel comfortable. So I'm moving back to my comfort zone set point of what my brain says my weight should be. It's the same with handling challenges or handling change. We all have a set point. So today we are going to think about what is my automatic set point when I'm faced with a challenge or change. And since COVID is a huge one that we've just experienced, you can ask yourself, how did I initially respond to the COVID pandemic? Not how are you responding to it now, but how did you initially respond to it? Now, let's say 1 is you just went with the flow and it didn't really have any impact on you. And 10 is I totally flipped out and freaked out and froze and I didn't know what I was going to do. So our set point for this one, we're just going to say between 1 and 10. And you can make up whatever scale you want for different set points. Thermostats are based on either the Fahrenheit or Celsius temperature depending on where you live and what your device is set as. But for us, we're just going to make up our own set point. We're going to say, what was my set point at the beginning of COVID when I initially heard about it? Between 1 being easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no change, I can handle this. It's not even going to faze me. We'll figure it out. 2, I don't know what I'm going to frickin' do. A 10 would be, you freaked out. You didn't know what you were going to do. I would say initially, geez, I was about a 3. It was weird. Never heard of anything like it in my life. But to be honest, for the last 2 years, I've had vision challenges and been having to do a lot of the things that people were being asked to do as part of the COVID pandemic. You know, the social distancing and separation, the, you know, not masks and things like that, or staying away from people, or the 6-foot rule, but a lot of other things I'd already been doing. I'd already cut back on, you know, how many times I could go to the store or would go to the store. I'd already had to change my consumption habits in terms of what I ate and what I had in stock as I made a big physical move. So to me, initially, my set point was about a 3. Now, my set point now, honestly, with respect to COVID stuff, it's about a 1, a 1 or maybe a 1.5, because I just go with the flow of whatever it is and just do. Now, a lot of that is because my personal situation is I am in a high risk category for both my health. I had a sudden cardiac arrest 10 years ago, and I have arthritis and other inflammation issues. I'm a little heavy, especially during COVID, so I suppose I'd be considered obese. And I'm over, you know, I'm 60. I turned 60 right as the pandemic was breaking out here in America. So with 3 risk categories, I just need to be more cognizant and more safe. And I easily came to terms with, I'll figure it out. I'll do whatever I have to do. This is what I have to do. And so I didn't have much resistance. So our set point is kind of a measure of our resistance to a certain thing. 1 to 5 is up to average resistance. Above 5 is, hey, I'm feeling a little more resistance. I'm pushing back on this. I'm freaking out about this a little bit more than I want to. And that's part of what this challenge will help you do. It will help us change our set point, not only about the COVID pandemic and this particular challenge that we're all facing together, but any other challenge, any other change you face in your life. So that is our lesson for today. Quick recap. What's in it for you? What is share in the homework thread, the playwork thread, which I will create a graphic for sometime today. Share what your number one thing is. What is the number one thing that you want to get out of this particular challenge? What's in it for you to do this challenge? Maybe it's, I just want to learn how to handle changes better, or challenges better. I want to know that I can control and I have the ability to test and tweak and get results. Or, hey, I want to get results really fast. I want to know that I'm always going to get a better result because I had this challenge than if I hadn't had this challenge. And that's kind of a bold statement, but I will guarantee every bad thing, every opportunity, every experience I've ever had, I've always ended up better off after it. It might not have been immediately after, but always light years better. It's always been like a huge, more than a stepping stone, kind of like a springboard to the next thing for me, the next thing toward what I wanted to create in my life. And that's the key thing. Sometimes we feel like when we lose something, or when something bad happens, or we have a challenge that feels painful, we think that that's the end of the world. And we soon realize after the fact that it happened for a reason. And once we know that reason, we usually make a massive springboard in the direction of where we need to go and where we want to go. That's it. Share your homework in the comments below. Any comments, questions, concerns, please share them in the comments below, because I will be here with you watching them, looking at them every day and responding. Have an amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow. Do your homework, whether you have a notebook, a piece of paper, whatever. I'm going to do it every day so I can get little stickers, because I want to get at least 30 stickers this month. I like smiley faces. Who doesn't want a smiley face smiling at them every day? All right, have an awesome day. I'll be with you tomorrow.